For the third weekend in a row, asylum seekers have illegally made their way across from the U.S. into Manitoba. Overnight, 22 people walked across this snow-covered field in hopes of starting a new life in Canada. The refugee situation here in Manitoba shows no signs of stopping. Last night alone, at least 27 people crossed into Canada from the U.S. using 2 crossings into Emerson. They illegally entered Canada this weekend, but this family is now free to walk the streets after making a treacherous trek into Manitoba. They braved frigid winter conditions crossing from the U.S. into Canada early Saturday morning. For now, the 21 people that RCMP say illegally crossed into Emerson over the weekend are staying here at this Winnipeg Refugee Aid Center.
For them, this is the only way to be safe and secure. It's easy to say, okay, they have to come legally, and there is no alternative solution.
Maysoon Darwesh and her husband Noor Ali came to Canada from Syria 4 years ago as sponsored refugees. While they entered Canada legally, they do understand the dire situation some refugees are facing.
A lot of cases, they have no choice. They have no choice. They're feeling they are not safe there. They're feeling in one day they will kick them out from the U.S.
Not everyone is eligible to seek asylum in Canada. The federal government says people convicted of serious criminal offenses and people who have had previous refugee claims denied by Canada are not eligible to make a claim. But that isn't enough to stop people in Emerson from worrying about the recent increase in asylum seekers. Officials say people have crossed into their town for decades, but they've never seen this many and so frequently. Zahra Premji, Global News, Winnipeg. Matt Rutherford has told us that they have started to review the tape, the security tape from the legislature. They've also evacuated a part of the building, not the entire section, but the section that was necessary at this time. No word yet if the bomb squad has been called in from Vancouver, but we will have more for you on the 11 o'clock show.
Broken by CKNW radio reporter Zahra Premji track this down. She joins us now.
But speaking to this mother, she spoke from her heart. There was nothing fake about it. Here's a mother who fled from her abusive relationship that she's saying was happening in Ontario, came here, and all she wanted to do was raise her child, and she didn't get to do that. She wanted her child to be safe. Her child was not safe. We're going to follow this. We're not going to give up. This is not a story that we brought to the airwaves and said, okay, we broke the story, goodbye. It's that story that we're going to talk about. It's that story that I will always remember for the rest of my life. And I hope that, I don't know what the truth is, I don't know what the answer is, but at the end of the day, a baby died, and that's not okay.
RCMP officers say everyone was wearing seatbelts and that alcohol is not a factor in this fatal collision from Saturday, but they do say the investigation is still underway as to what happened here in this intersection. Zahra Premji, Global News. Winnipeg police are still asking for any witnesses who may have been at the scene to please come forward.
What are you doing?
A close call.
Oh, thanks.
Another one. Sean Orr has recorded these close calls from his daily walks at Cordova and Homer.
It's almost a war between pedestrians and vehicles.
Orr says every day, at least once each way, he's using this crosswalk to grab his daily coffee or run errands, which means every single day he's on guard because he feels he has to risk his safety just to cross the street.
You could probably stand here waiting for cars to stop, and they won't. You have to get out and stare them down. It's just, it's a bad one.
Orr isn't the only person who thinks this is one of Vancouver's most dangerous and neglected crosswalks.
Put one step ahead, and then I wait, and then I wait for them to wait for me.
It's very frustrating because you have to be on your guard all the time, and you can't just walk without being worried about a car hitting you. And you have to look all the time, and it's a lot of stress.
Just 30 minutes after Orr posted his video on social media, the city said it would look into it. It tells CBC News the video will lead to a review of the intersection and crosswalk to see if it needs upgrades here and elsewhere. But with no immediate changes, Orr wants to remind drivers about one simple thing.
Just be careful. Just be mindful, It takes 1 second and you can change your life and someone else's life forever.
And if you're a lucky pedestrian, Orr says this will happen for you at Homer in Cordova.
Try this, okay? Bravo.
Zahra Premji, CBC News, Vancouver. Well, Dan, at this point, police officers are not sharing that much with us. The Major Crimes Unit is at the beginning stages of their investigation. They are calling this, though, the 13th homicide in the city so far this year, catching up to last year's number of roughly 19 in total. While the snowfall brought with it slushy roads, car crashes, and a bit of a disaster on some of the streets around Metro Vancouver, it also brought with it a fun experience for many. So the kids behind me say Vancouver doesn't really get a lot of this snow, so when it does happen, make sure you make the most of it. Zahra Premji, CBC News, Coquitlam.